One of the big stories of last week was the UFC announcing that Miesha Tate will be defending her newly won UFC women's bantamweight title at UFC 200 against Amanda Nunes. And a lot of fans were very surprised, perhaps a little disappointed as well, that it was not Miesha Tate versus Holly Holm. We've heard from Miesha, we've heard from Amanda Nunes, heard from their managers, have not heard from Holly Holm, so really wanted to have her on the program to talk about this news and what's next for her. And she is kind enough to join us once again on the show. Holly, how are you? And again, thank you so much for coming on the show again.
Oh, thank you as always. Thanks for your time. I'm doing good. Just training, and that's about it.
It's like every 2 weeks now we have you on, and it's always great to talk to you. Unfortunately, coming off perhaps some frustrating news, I'm wondering how Holly Holm felt when she found out that she was not getting the rematch. You were on this show just a couple of weeks ago saying that's what you wanted, and when you found out that wasn't going to happen, what was your reaction?
I mean, of course that's what I want, and I know that I can't really, when you lose the belt, you can't sit there and, try and, I kind of lose a lot of my pull on what I would like to do, but I really felt like that was a fight that the fans wanted to see. I felt like it was a good rematch to put together. I think that a lot of people wanted to see it, so it's not even something that it was just me wanting it. I think the fans wanted it too, so I was really hoping they would put it together, and I was kind of bummed out, but I guess I just have to keep training, and who knows when they're going to give me another fight.
Were you given a heads up before they made the official announcement, or did you find out like the rest of the world?
I think I found out like the rest of the world. I think that, it was probably pretty much the same day that they had talked with, my management about the time that they were announcing it with everybody else too, that she was going to be fighting Amanda Nunes. So I was bummed, and I thought, well, maybe, I guess, if I can't have that, maybe they'll set up something else, and we even thought, like, they might have offered something like Kat Zingano or Juliana Pena, and then they set them up to fight each other. So, but, right now, I just really, really want the rematch, but, this fight's going to be taking place, and that's just all there is to it, so, and you never know. Somebody could get hurt, I guess, so I want to keep training and be ready.
So there was some talk that, she turned down the fight. She was never offered the fight. It keeps going back and forth. From your perspective, from what you understand, what happened? Were you ever offered to Miesha? Do you know that for a fact? Were you ever in play here?
I think that at first they kind of said, yeah, this is a great rematch. We'll try and set it up, and then the longer it took for them to call back and tell me if I had to fight or not, the more I was like thinking, I don't think they're going to give it to me. Otherwise I think they would have just set it up right away. I don't know. I don't know if it was Miesha that wanted to decide, to have a different fight, or if it was the UFC wanting to have a different matchup. I don't know. I know I was asking for it, and my management was constantly talking with the UFC. But I guess I just have to be patient, what can I do from my standpoint? I just have to kind of wait and see what happens.
Have you been reading some of the things or seeing some of the things that Miesha has said as to why perhaps you're not getting the rematch? And if so, what do you think of it? If not, I can read some of it to you, but maybe that's not necessary. Essentially, she's saying that, you weren't a long-reigning champion. It was your first defense, and it wasn't like you were dominating her, so there wasn't a great need for the rematch. Have you seen any of this stuff?
Well, you know what? Obviously, that's not any big news. I won the belt, and then I lost it. So I don't know. That's just obvious fact. But as far as how she won the belt, it wasn't like she was just dominating me. I was ahead. I was winning that fight. And yeah, she totally had round 2 and dominated round 2, but I think that's why a rematch made, in my eyes, and I think most people's eyes, that's why a rematch makes sense. It's because it was, it wasn't like really one-sided. I feel like I was winning, and then she came with a submission in the end. So I don't see why they wouldn't want to see a rematch with something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just saying it because you're on the phone. One of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show is because I feel like of all the potential rematches that are a play and the ones that they've made, this was the one that made the most sense. And for
That's what I feel. I definitely feel this makes the most sense. I mean, I feel like our fight had more competitiveness than the main event that night as far as, yes, I lost my belt, but I was winning the fight, and so it kind of creates more of a curiosity of what would happen in the rematch, I don't know. Hopefully they'll want to put something together. Obviously it's going to be a while, and then after UFC 200, and if she still has the belt, who knows how much time she's going to want to take off. I mean, I don't know. So that's what's frustrating about it, is because it's like, man, I want to fight for that rematch, but that might be a while. So I might have to start seeing if they're going to want to give me a different fight, and that's why we thought maybe even, Zingano or Pena, but they put them together. So right now I'm looking like I'm just going to be hanging out training for a while. It's frustrating.
Speaking of that main event, the Conor McGregor-Nate Diaz fight, do you feel like that worked against you? Because they made that the main event of UFC 200, did you think once you saw that news that it was going to be tough to have the top two fights the same as 196? Do you believe that was, a possibility in working against you here?
I do feel like that's who wants to pretty much see a repeat exactly the same.
Right.
So yeah, I think that, and you know what? Conor sells a lot of tickets. So I guess as a promotion, I can see why they would want to put him on, for UFC 200. I'm not trying to say that what they did is wrong. I mean, if you're in a promotion, you're going to try and, make it the most successful. And so I'm sure that that's why they want to put him there. But I do know that with Miesha and I on the card, it was, record setting. So I know that we had a little bit of pull on that. It wasn't all just one person, So, but yeah, once they put that one together, I figured, I don't know if they're gonna do the same all over again,
Do you believe, to be as blunt as possible, do you believe Miesha should return the favor? You gave her the title fight when you could have waited for Ronda Rousey, and your bosses think you should have waited for Ronda Rousey, and you fought her 4 months later. Do you believe that she should have done the same? She should have given you the fight next in her first defense.
I feel like I feel like it's something that would be like in the sport and like in a way, yeah. I would hope that she would want to give me the chance like I gave her the chance. But I also feel like I like to take responsibility for a lot of the things that I do, and I'm the one that lost the belt, so I feel like I've lost a lot of my kind of my pool of what I can wish and hope for and push for. Yeah, I hope that I was hoping she would give me that chance, but she's also got her own career she's going to focus on and what she wants to aspire to do, so I can't really judge her for that either, but I guess on my part I was just hoping she would, I guess I'm not going to be mad at her about it or anything like that. I was hoping she would.
So you look at the rankings right now, and Miesha Tate is the champ. Obviously, you're number 1, and then Ronda's 2. Kat is booked. Amanda is booked. Pena is booked. McMahon is booked. I is booked. Yeah. Betch is booked. Yeah. Carmouche is kind of taking some time off, and then there's Kaufman, who's your friend, who you're not really too keen on fighting. She's a training partner. It doesn't really make sense at the moment, and she doesn't even have a contract. So how is it possible that Holly Holm is the odd woman out here? Outside of Ronda, you can make a very strong case that you're the most popular fighter in this division, and you were hotter than ever as far as momentum and all that stuff, and now here you are, odd woman out. Is this a tough thing to wrap your head around?
I don't think it makes sense as far as you would think that they would want to have thrown me in the mix somewhere in there. I was hoping anyway. And like I said, I know that the last two that were really there were the, Kat Zingano and Pena, and we thought, well, maybe they'll set me up with one of those girls, since obviously my fight with Miesha is not going to happen anytime soon now that she already has this one ahead of her. And like I said, after that, who knows how much time she's going to want off. So then when they set those two up to fight each other, then it was just like, well, okay. I guess I'm just going to hang out and wait, I'm always wanting to get better, and I figure I just have to make the best of what decisions or what opportunities come. So whatever opportunity comes, that's what I want to make the most of. And in the meantime, I don't want to waste time. I want to keep getting better and just go forward. I always like to stay active and fight. That's why, I gave Miesha a chance for the belt sooner than waiting. And I don't regret taking that fight. I always want to stay true to how I feel and what I'm passionate about, and I wanted to keep fighting. So just a lesson learned for me. It really cost me a lot to learn this lesson, but I'm just going to keep training, and I'm just going to hope that they give me a chance with a fight. And like I said, you never know what other fights might fall through and if something might happen, and I just want to be ready.
What's the lesson, Holly, that you've learned?
Well, I learned a lot in that fight, and I'm not saying that her skill is not there, but I feel like in that whole week of the fight, the main thing I was telling people is, how she really can be down in a fight and still come back and come from behind and win, and she's a real scrappy fighter, and I should have been listening to my own words, because that's exactly what happened in the fight, and I should have been acting with the same sense of urgency in the last round as I was in round one.
There were some reports that you were in discussion, that there was some talk of them offering you Cris Cyborg. Was that ever a real thing? Was that ever brought to your attention?
Yeah. And I'm not against fighting Cris Cyborg. I definitely, I guess I was just really hoping at the time that they were going to give a fight for me for my rematch, and that's what was on my heart, and that's what I was, like I said, I was really pushing for. And I'm really not against fighting Cris Cyborg, but I was really wanting to see if I could get this rematch instead. Mm-hmm. So I just said, yeah, I'm not against fighting her, but right now it doesn't really. I think that I wanted to stay focused on getting the rematch, and if it winds up being a fight in the future, then maybe. But it just didn't really seem to make sense at the time.
If you knew that you weren't getting the title fight, would you have taken the fight? Like, in other words, do you regret not taking that fight now?
Maybe. But
fighting her in Brazil at 140, all that, is that appealing to you?
It's one of those things that definitely, I think, it would be definitely like a big challenge.
Uh-huh.
I'm not against the big challenge. And with that fight, I kind of just let my management I said, if you guys think let's do it, and if not, then, I kind of want your guidance on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And we just kind of felt like, maybe that fight would be for a better situation in the future, and kind of see how things go right now. Like I said, I really was so focused on really wanting to get this rematch, but guess we'll just see what's next.
Now, here's my crazy theory. I'm trying to have a silver lining in all of this. Is it possible that they're saving you for Ronda Rousey? That they're just gonna have you guys fight right away to not, screw this up and just finally capitalize on this rematch, even if it's not for the belt right now? Is that possible? Do you think that's why you didn't get booked in this rematch?
It's very possible. It's very possible. I don't know what their real thinking is, but they're obviously a successful business for a reason. They're a successful promotion, and so they usually have their reasons behind everything. And, I'll be ready either way. If I have a rematch with Ronda, I'm going to train my butt off. If I have a rematch with, Tate, I'm going to train my butt off. If they give me one of the other top girls in the meantime, I'm going to train my butt off. And I feel like at this point, not having the rematch, which is what I really wanted, I kind of have to change my train of thought that just be open to whatever. I don't want to be so focused on that if something else comes my way that I don't take advantage of the opportunity. So, and that could be it. They could be waiting for that. And then, because it has created a round robin, really, by me beating Ronda and Miesha beating me, it's kind of created that trio there, that round robin, to see who's going to be the one to come out on top in the end. And, they could be waiting. Who knows? Maybe they'll put Ronda and I together, and then the winner of that go for the belt. Who knows?
But to be clear, you haven't been told that, right?
No.
Okay. Is it hard to go to the gym now and be motivated, knowing that you lost out on, the rematch that you wanted right away, which was the Miesha Tate fight? Like, did you need to lick your wounds for a second, or you were right back in there?
No. I have no problem going to the gym and training and getting better. I just left the gym right now. I'm motivated to train, whether it's, for a fight or not. And actually, sometimes when I don't have a fight scheduled, I tend to work on more of a variety of things and not just, game plan for that specific, opponent. So in ways it can be even more fun to train when you don't have a fight coming up. I like having a goal. I like having a fighter and a fight to look forward to, but if not, I just like to enjoy training.
Have you read your, I don't know, and by the way, did you notice that your Twitter is now at Holly Holm, no more underscore? I'm sure you noticed that, right?
You know what? They told me they kept trying to fix it, and so I guess they finally did it.
Wait a second. They didn't tell you why they fixed it, when they fixed it?
I just told them, yeah, that'd be cool if you set it up. I don't know when they switched it over.
That's not cool. That's not cool. When you won the belt, I said it's about time that the champion of the UFC's women's bantamweight division has a proper Twitter handle. So I said it's time to get rid of the underscore. I called them out, and then they fixed it like 2 days later. We moved mountains for you, Holly. I just wanted to point that out. I'm not the kind.
Thank you.
I'm not asking for a pat on the back, but I just,
you want to know what else would help me out?
Yes.
Okay, so they keep saying that they're going to take care of my UFC Fight Pass, but I still pay for it all the time.
Are you kidding me? Holly Holm still pays for her UFC Fight Pass? That is absurd. That is sacrilege. Every month? $9.99?
UFC Fight Pass, I pay for every month, and they always tell me they're going to go and fix it.
Okay, Eric Winter, who I know listens to this show, watches it every week. You heard it right there from the true number one contender in the division. She needs to get comped UFC Fight Pass. Come on, let's make this right. I'm starting to think like there's some conspiracy theory against you here, Holly. I'm not going to go there, but if you're paying for UFC Fight Pass, that's not cool. That is not cool at all. I'm just wondering though.
Actually, I think my year membership just ran out this month. I tried to log in yesterday, and I was like, do I sign up again and pay every month, or should I just call them?
This is, I mean, talk about adding insult to injury. Jeez.
Putting salt in my wound.
Yes. But about the social media stuff, have you read your social media? I see a lot of people supporting you. Do you go on and look at that stuff, or is it too crazy now where you don't read that anymore?
You know what? I mostly look at Instagram.
Okay.
I'm really terrible at Twitter. I'm so bad at that to go through and read. I know I need to be better about it, but I just don't have time to read through all that. But Instagram, I mostly just look at photos, so then I don't even really read a whole lot of it. Every now and then I see stuff. But I do have to say that across the board, there's always going to be negative people out there. There's always going to be what they call, the haters. I really, truly feel like I have a very, very positive support from, all the fans. And I feel like the majority of it is positive. And I do see them and their support, and they back me up. And I really appreciate it. I really do. And it also helps me keep motivated. I don't want to let these people down, the people that support me through thick and thin, good or bad, So I definitely feel like the support's been positive, and I don't overlook that at all. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, they really had your back last week, so I was curious if you saw that. Final quick thing, and again, thank you so much for the time. It's always great to have you on. You are a class act.
Thank you.
Are you hoping that Miesha beats Amanda, or the opposite? What are you looking for? Like, what do you want to happen at UFC 200 now?
Gosh, I would like to rematch Miesha, and I would like it to be for the belt because who doesn't want to get that back? So
Right.
I guess that's what I would want.
Okay.
I want her to win and still have the belt so that I could rematch her and get the belt. Because I want to rematch her regardless.
Right.
But it'd be even sweeter if it was for the belt. So, yeah, I hope she wins. And anybody that beats me better beat everybody else.
Fair enough. And I'm guessing you'd rather that Miesha fight than the Ronda fight at this point. You want to beat the person that beat you.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's what the bitter taste in my mouth, That's what I want. But, like I said, whatever. If they hand the other one first, then that's fine.
All right. Holly, appreciate it. Thank you so much. I know it's not the best of times.
Thank you.
I'm sure it'll all work out. Really appreciate you coming on and talking about all of this, and best of luck to you.
Thank
and
you.
Keep up the great training. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, there she is, Holly Holm, the former women's bantamweight champion. I thought, with all due respect to Amanda Nunes, who's had a nice run, I thought they got it wrong on this one, but I wonder how much Conor Diaz affected that. Crazier things have happened, so let's see how it all pans out.